Hi YouTube, hello darlings. Today we will be discussing the I Am Magic foundation from Juvia's Place, along with the concealer as well. Stay tuned. Okay guys, so for starters I need to match myself in this foundation, so of course, because it came from Ulta and I can't swatch myself, I did get 5 different shades. So I have Kampala 340, Burkina 310, Malawi 230, Dakar 220, and Kenya 200. So similar to the way that they do this foundation in terms of the shade range, with it being the darkest tones go first and the lightest tones are last, I'm going to start with the lightest tones that I purchased. So first we have Kampala, which looks like that. I'm just going to swipe this on my cheek, just so that you can see that. Up next is Burkina, which looks like that. And I'll go ahead and swatch this right next to it. Up next is Malawi. Malawi looks like that. Go ahead and swipe that, and yeah, that's my shade. We'll continue and play along. You know damn well I already tried on this foundation. Next we have Dakar. Okay, here's Dakar, which obviously isn't my skin tone, but it looks like that. And I'll swipe this right there, just so that you can see that. And last but not least is Kenya. So here's Kenya. And just swipe it right there. So again, as it relates to swatches, I did swatch my skin in order from light to deepest. And so again, here is just a better look of the shades that I chose. And again, like I said, Malawi right here, this third shade going from the bottom to the top, right in the middle. Malawi is absolutely perfect. It's warm, golden, beautiful. So for starters, I'm just going to use the liquid silk canvas from Tatcha to prime my skin. Like I said in my Tom Ford video, this is definitely easily one of my favorite primers of all time. I'm just going to go in with the shade Malawi, and when I tried this foundation for the first time, I actually tried it in a parking lot when I found this shade, because I originally purchased I think 3 shades and none of the shades worked. They were too light, wrong undertone, like nothing was working. And I used, and this is a very small amount that I'm using right now, I used probably half of a pea size in the parking lot at Ulta, because I just really wanted to try the shade Malawi, because I had a really good feeling just based on, you know, all of the errors I had made purchasing the other shades that you saw. I just knew that this shade would have to be the one, because if it wasn't, then I couldn't wear this foundation. And I was just so impressed. So now I'm just going in with a Dior number 12 brush. This is a full coverage foundation brush. I'm going in with a light coverage just to see how this is going to show up on camera, and if necessary I will go in with even more. It's a dead-on match. And like I said guys, my lighting, I lower it and adjust it so that it shows you exactly what I see in person, just so that you can see shades, you know, in their true state and they're not altered by light, just so that it can help you make a decision if you're interested in this particular foundation or any foundation from any of my videos that I talk about. And I picked up a little bit more from the back of my hand just to go under my eye and on my lids. And again, I used, again, like I did in the parking lot, I used a size that's roughly half the size of a pea. And this has done the entire half of my face. It sits really well on the skin, and this is showing up really nicely on camera, I feel. So I'm not even going to go in with heavy coverage, just because it really isn't necessary. And just because a foundation is a full coverage foundation doesn't mean you can't sheer it down, doesn't mean you can't treat it like a lighter coverage foundation. Just depending on, you know, where you're going, what you're doing, you could wear a full coverage foundation as a lighter coverage foundation. As you can see, like if you look at my face side by side, you can see a clear difference. Like it really just, ooh, I like this. So I took out just a little bit more, just like half size of a pea. I really like this, guys. It looks like I have like nothing on my face. This is beautiful, especially for the price. Are you kidding me? I did also pick up the Eye Magic concealer in shades 11 and 12, and here are the shades right here on the back of my hand. This one to the left is shade 11, and to the right is shade 12. 11 just has more yellow in it. 12 looks kind of red to me. It's giving off a peachy, almost red type of look for me. So I'm gonna go with shade 11. This concealer, like the foundation, is very extra. You do not need a lot of any of this. Of course, husband's at the gym. And he just called me. Or he's calling me. Lord. Hello. Hello. This blends out very easily. Also have time to play. It's not something that's set super fast. Very concentrated. Checks all the boxes. Like when I initially put this on in the parking lot just to play and see if it worked, like I thought it was like, you know, a fluke or something. I thought it was like, you know, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just real hot outside and I'm not thinking straight, but this is what I'm talking about. I'm going in now with Sacha Buttercup. I know people talked about this for a couple years and I am late to the party on this, but whatever. Now that's baking, which is something I don't really do often. I'm going to use the Airbrush Bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is in the shade Tan Deep, or shade 3. Okay, Tan 3. If you saw my birthday haul, you would have seen that I bought shade 3 and 4 in this bronzer along with a Norris bronzer. I actually just bought 2 additional bronzers. We'll talk about that later. In this particular video, I'm going to try this one on because this one looks a lot like my famous, loved, dead Guerlain Terracotta bronzer in shade 5. This one is very similar, so we'll give this a whirl. So usually with bronzers, I like bronzers to be almost my skin tone, very close, but just a tinge darker, just because I want subtle dimension and I want it to look as natural as possible. I will review this bronzer, but for the sake of this video, I will say that you do have to use a lot more for it to show up versus my Guerlain. I'm gonna go ahead and dust off this powder. I am putting on a little bit of my Terracotta light from Guerlain, which also is broken. And I refuse to buy a new one. Roll a little bit on my cheeks. So final touch before setting my makeup, I'm just taking a big fluffy brush and just going around my face. It's gonna make everything cohesive. I'm gonna use a little bit of lip glow in Raspberry from Dior. And to set my makeup today, I'm actually going to use the Squalane plus Hyaluronic Toning Mist. This is from Biossance. I actually had this on a table next to me because I had purchased this recently and it was just delivered like yesterday, I believe, because I bought 2 of them because it was like 40% off or something. Don't sleep on Biossance sales, y'all. Okay guys, let's talk about it. The I Am Magic Velvety Foundation is your standard 30 ml 1 ounce tube. Comes in 42 different shades and it retails for $20. However, when I got it, I believe I got it for $12, something like that at Ulta. On the official website right now, it says $20, but they usually have sales. And I've seen this foundation very cheap off and on, so I don't know if they're going to discontinue it, repackage it, reformulate it. Not really sure, but again, usually this is on sale because I never paid $20 for this. Per Juvia's Place, I Am Magic Velvety Foundation is a flawless foundation and we think it's the best full coverage foundation. The I Am Magic formula equates to lightweight, lasting coverage for all day wearability. It has a velvety finish that never looks cakey. From Sedan to Marisol, our 42 expertly formulated shades are globally inspired, all skin tones, from the deepest dark to the fairest fair. Live your magic with Juvia's Place. Okay, so to sum this up, this foundation does everything that I just said. It is a full coverage foundation, velvety matte finish, it lasts all day, absolutely beautiful. This particular shade Malawi is a dead-on match to my skin. If you really truly want to know the skin tone and undertone that I have, look at the shade Malawi. This is like it's perfect. And shade 11, this is a perfect color for me because it is lighter than I am, but it does tone down. So it's not something that's extreme on my skin because again, you know, when I do use concealer, I usually like the concealer to either match my skin tone or be very close and be just a subtle highlight. Overall, I don't have much to say about this foundation because it's spectacular. I think this is absolutely awesome. They only had one left of Malawi at the Ulta near me. I personally will buy more of these because I am super impressed with this, especially in this formula, because you would think that it's like thick and it's cakey. You would think that you would get that from this foundation, but in reality, you get a natural skin-like finish. And again, you can make it heavier if you want to. You could make it even lighter than I did, and you could actually probably turn it into a tinted moisturizer if you would have put in some of your moisturizer and mix just a dollop of this in there. It could turn into a tinted moisturizer. You can do that with any foundation. But yeah, guys, that's really all I have to say. This is an awesome, awesome foundation. I'm very impressed with this. The shade range, as you know, is absolutely amazing, especially for us, people of color. You can really find, you know, your particular shade. The only reason why I bought, you know, so many foundation shades and the concealers concealers I was okay with. But yeah, overall, I had to buy so many shades just because of the Ulta pandemic situation and how you can't swatch yourself. But overall, if you get your shade, you're going to be thoroughly impressed with this foundation. I have worn this in extreme heat. I have worn this just walking around the house doing nothing. I have, you know, worn this foundation out and about. This is a beautiful foundation, so I hope you guys try it if you haven't tried it already. I didn't want to go too far in depth just because this foundation is pretty self-explanatory and the concealer is the same way. It does the same thing and it's beautiful. So I'm thoroughly impressed. Hope you guys try this out if you have never tried out Juvia's Place, the I Am Magic foundation or concealer. Definitely let me know down below if you have tried this particular product, if you have tried the concealer. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back as always with a whole lot more, guys. Bye.